The next day was still and grey. The air sucked the curtain against the window, then billowed out again. I walked out the front door for work and stood on the curb waiting to cross. Just then a guy on a skateboard slowly rolled past in a pair of sunglasses. It looked like Ken. I stood and watched as he passed. He could still be in town. I wanted to say stop, but what if it wasn't him? Tears ran down my cheeks. I didn't want to play anymore. I crossed the road and started up the footpath. A few well-placed people looked at me and frowned or shook their head. I wanted to scream, but instead I put my head down. I was sending out more and more job applications and kept receiving rejection letters, going for weeks without work, knowing I could be writing but feeling paralysed at the thought of unlocking myself to anyone. If only I could reach that other part of me drifting further and further away. It was late, but the air was hot, and I drove off to the ocean in my car. I felt exposed and detached. A place where 2 days earlier plane loads of tourists flew in to see the New Year dawn. I parked the car and walked for a few minutes along the path that led to a rocky dark water peeking in the shadows and swirling foam beneath. Grey smudges floated across the navy night. If life was merely random and the only pattern applied was within, then this sort of oblivion is how it should end. The slip of moon moved beyond the clouds and rolled itself out along the water to me. Life marched on relentlessly like a red carpet unfolding towards death. My insignificance occurred to me then. What I really wanted was to escape, even for a while, just for some relief. A whole new year was ahead of me and I had nothing to lose. The train was gaining momentum, still speeding along a question, like a persistent drone in my head. I had to find the station where I boarded, but I wasn't even sure where that was. In my dream I'm clinging to his legs as he tries to walk away. He tells me I have to let go. No, I won't, I say, still trying to hold on. You have to let go, he says, trying to pull me off. So much for getting over this delusion, I thought when I woke. There were so many theories to consider now, but I was no longer sure what to call it anymore. One of the fan websites posted some insider gossip that plans to make a film in the city had changed. Obviously, this city is too small for both of us, I thought. It seemed everything I did was wrong all of a sudden, according to the signs. But I couldn't quite discern if Ken was the bad guy or if it was my fault. Was he taming the shrew or shrewing the tame? Was I too much, too little, too hot, too cold? Should I be sweeter, smarter, kinder, more beautiful, or just more famous? In an attempt to speed up my degree, I enrolled in 3 classes at university that semester while continuing 2 separate jobs. I was sure now more than ever that everything I did and said, even what I wrote, was under surveillance. Somehow I was leaking out. I lay in bed at night wondering where the cameras and microphones might be. I kept my phone conversations to the mobile phone and always used it outside. I'd been thinking about filming a documentary on the local inner city community where I lived. One quiet afternoon I walked up to a burning campfire where 3 guys were standing. "I'm thinking about making a short film. Is anyone interested in telling their story?" I asked. They gestured to a house nearby and I walked over to the door. "Hello," I called out a few times. An old lady walked into the hall and saw me at the door, which was wide open. She came slowly down the hall and stood on the step. I introduced myself and explained that I wanted to make a film. But while we were talking, a young woman walked past us and straight into her house. "Excuse me," said the old woman. "I can't trust her." She went into the house after the young woman and I stood on the front step. Just then a small girl, about 6 or 7, had appeared beside me. "Is that your mummy?" I asked. "No," said the girl. "Do you have any money?" "No," I said. "Do you have any lollies?" "No," I said. She moved closer to me as I squatted there facing her. She raised both her hands and ran her fingers over my face and giggled. "You've got funny eyes," she said, then poked her finger into a cut on my lip. "Ouch," I said. I pulled away. "That's sore. Did you get bashed up?" she asked. "No, my lips are just dry," I said. She started to hit me on the arm then, with aggression. I stood up and stepped back. She quickly hopped down the 3 steps and away. Just then the old lady was back at the front door. She had to go now, but offered to talk to me if I came back in a few days. in a few days. But just before she turned away, she leaned in and pointed to an office block nearby. "They're watching us, you know," she said. I nodded in agreement.